we're going to explore how to lengthen the pectoral muscles. And this can be helpful in ways of opening up joint mobility in the surrounding areas. For instance, the clavicle or the collarbone, the sternum, within the rib cage itself, the shoulder, of course, and maybe even the neck. These are the areas that are close by the pectorals. The chest muscles, the pectorals, originate along your sternum and attach also across the collarbone. And then they insert into the humerus of the arm bone. Now, when they shorten in 3 dimensions, it will draw the arm forward or cause the shoulder to move into flexion. It'll also draw the arm inward along the frontal plane in what's called adduction. And if it shortens in the transverse plane, it will encourage internal rotation of the arm. So if we are going to try and experience length at one point in time in all 3 planes of motion, the sagittal, frontal, and transverse, we'll just need to do the opposite. We'll need to bring the arm behind us rather than in front of us. We'll need to pull the arm away from the midline rather than adducting it. And we'll need to externally rotate the arm. So a very simple way of doing that is to put yourself in a regular split stance, like taking a step forward. In this case, I'm going to use my right leg forward, left leg back. And I'm going to focus on my right arm and right pectoral. So the first thing I'm going to do is externally rotate my arm. And then I'm going to draw it out away from my body, and I'm going to encourage it back behind me. So now with the arm back behind me, externally rotated and rotating back, while I am encouraging my head to stay forward, I'm going to encourage lengthen all 3 planes of motion within my pectoral muscles. Now, the rib cage may travel along gently behind the arm, meaning the speed at which it rotates is going to be slower than the arm itself, because if they both rotate at the same time, then I'm not really achieving any distance or difference in the joint itself. So the arm is going to externally rotate, reaching back. Now, the higher up my arm is, the more that arm weight is going to be held onto the shoulder muscles. So if you've got some achy shoulders or that doesn't feel too good, it's okay to just bring your arm back behind you, externally rotate it, and bring it back. And you can come on forward again, and then externally rotate and bring the arm back. This is one nice way of giving the muscle a re-education of what it should do in space. If we think about it, there's very few opportunities throughout our regular day where we're encouraging our arms back behind us. Most of the time, hours and hours are spent either in a steering wheel position, a laptop, or even the dinner table or breakfast table. Most of the time, our arms are forward, whether we're working at a counter or a sit-down job, or maybe you're a hairstylist. We've all got our arms, the world's in front of us, so our arms are always going in front of us. Many times we'll try and do something that's quite different and bring your arms behind you, such as when you're sitting in a car and you're trying to reach back and grab something out of the back seat. Many people have hurt their shoulders when that situation occurs because we don't train the muscles as to what they should perform. So this is a great re-educational exercise on many levels, training proper movement, lengthening the muscle in all 3 dimensions, and really just giving the joints a better understanding of how they should move and how the soft tissue should react to it. Now, stretching for the sake of stretching is a fine idea, but it's not necessarily the same as what we're doing here. I could put my hand on a wall and move my body away from it and receive a stretch and be very similar to the movement. But if we think about how we play sports, how we walk, how we run, how we play with children, whatever the case may be, our arms are not anchored to one place. The hand is not stuck to a wall and I'm trying to move through it. The arm is what's fluid and open and moving. So it's a better idea, perhaps, to allow the body to experience how it is that we can reach. Be sure you assess before this movement and then reassess afterwards. Whether it's a simple range of motion test, toe touch, shoulder flexion, total body rotation, did anything improve with those? If it did, great, you're on the right track. If you got an opposite reaction, then, well, try the other side and see what that's like. Maybe it's just one side that you favor, and maybe you need to do both, or maybe this, in this point in time, is not the right one for you. That's why you want to assess, do the motion, and reassess. Give it a try.